so welcome back to a scenario of the alternate future of the world. And let's do a quick little recap as we saw nuclear radiation in some areas rapidly clearing up, only being some areas that still have noticeable radiation. And yeah, and also we saw this African split, or the Great African Split as we call it, or as I called it. And we saw South Africa being split into a civil war over the matter, and something got revealed with that war, and the old world order is fighting to keep it silent, while a lot of other nations like India, South Africa, Australia, and the remnants of Brazil, which are all decently sized powers, but not as strong as they are today, all begin to a movement to get the truth revealed. But with that little recap done, let's jump over to Europe, as we're going to turn off the Lion Slayer. As after the Treaty of World War III, France fell terrible. They got nuked into oblivion, they lost Corsica and Brittany. So they want to bring it back. The entire French Empire. As a revolution stormed Paris while the South African War was going on, and it took over the federal government, and a dictator was put into power, which causes NATO allies to be a little scared, but we see France not caring and launching a massive attack on Brittany anyways. But rapidly, we see NATO being like, yeah, just no, as they decide to kick out France from the military alliance. And this is not the smartest thing to do, especially if you want to keep stability in the alliance after its massive fall. But you can't have an expansionist country in your military alliance that is supposed to stop expansionist countries. As we see France taking over some remnants, they take over Brittany, and it seems like France has reunited. But they want to unite something bigger and a lot stronger. The Western Roman Empire. And they say after they do that, they will march to Moscow. Those plans are secret, but the world knows their plans to reform the Western Roman Empire. And as a quick little thing, they launch a naval attack on Haiti, which isn't part of the Western Roman Empire, but they just have unsettled beef. Rapidly, America goes in and navally blockades the French troops, but the French troops continue their march anyways, and rapidly, Haiti falls. America despises this, but there's nothing they can do about it, as their economy is still terrible, especially after World War III. We see the American Golden Age, but with the world economy rapidly collapsing, your economy is going to collapse too. No exceptions. But coming over to Africa, we're going to be seeing a country join this union, which was a union to begin with. As we actually see four, being Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, the Gambia, and Mauritania. As with these four members joining, we see this country getting a massive chunk of land. The reasoning is because their economies were just terrible. And let's do this. As they also join the alliance, which we're actually going to change the color of to a teal. And reasoning? There is no reasoning. It's just they don't want to be associated with the old alliance, which they are, but no one really cares. But coming over to India, we see them being surrounded by pretty much all sides by alliances. I mean, not South, but there is some talks about an Indian Ocean order. And to the north, the two biggest alliances in the world are beefing, and they don't want to get caught in the crossfire, as they won against China in the past. They're not going to deny that. But China is rapidly building up, and it's starting to get terrifying. And Pakistan is also starting to see that China's building up, and Afghanistan is building up on Pakistan's border, which caused Pakistan to go on defensive over here more instead of over here. And India is focusing on these two borders instead of this one. And we begin to see a mutual understanding between India and Pakistan. They have been beefing over Kashmir for around 100 years, maybe even 200 at this point. Why would you keep fighting if the only thing that the people don't like about each other is the fact that their countries have been beefing over this and religious beliefs? So they decide to put that aside as we see the South Asian order forming with India, Iran, Kuwait, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, South Korea, and Vietnam. All of these nations have one thing in common. They're scared of Chinese and Russian expansion. Except for Kuwait. They're the only one not scared of Chinese or Russian expansion, but they're scared of Saudi Arabian expansion. But yeah, this order is formed to stop expansion in the region, and it's attack one, attack all, just like NATO. As we see tensions rising in Central Asia, as three massive alliances roll over the same areas. And border disputes in the region are getting way more common. But we see Saudi Arabian forces out of nowhere launching a massive two-way attack, actually three-way attack, on Jordan, Bahrain and Qatar, and the UAE, out of nowhere. As part of this plan, they were going to attack Kuwait and these two, but plans changed after Kuwait joined the alliance, and that's why Kuwait joined in the first place. They saw troops building up, and they're like, nah. Even though Saudi Arabia was a close ally. But Saudi forces rapidly moved over here until they heard the bells, which that means attack. The reasoning? They want to experiment on the nuclear radiation. And just like China is doing up here, and that's why they attacked this area, they wanted to experiment on it, but not, kill civilians for it. I mean, I bet they would. Can't put it behind China to do stuff like that. I'm joking, China. Please don't kill my family. Anyways, we see Saudi Arabian forces flooding into the UAE, taking Abu Dhabi, I think. Yeah, sounds about right. And we see the massive Battle of Dubai. Massive skyscrapers go crashing down, killing thousands, and yeah. And the Saudi Arabians rapidly destroyed Jordan at the same time. as we see the capitals of all of these nations falling, except Jordan, as we see the Treaty of Dubai being signed in Riyadh. As Saudi Arabia didn't want to fully annex Jordan, they just wanted some pretty decent, two massive chunks of land, and they wanted to fully annex these two. As with their massive expansion, they're starting to be seen as a not so good country, causing their oil trades to begin to crash. And they're blaming the market, but internally, they know that no matter what they do, they can't go back now. But they do own the Strait of Hormuz. But they do own half the Persian Gulf. But yeah, Iranian and Saudi Arabian forces having a massive standoff right here, and we begin to see Saudi Arabia build up for something suicidal that we will see next episode. Episode, I think, 12. I'm not sure. But in the last episode, I said that we would see the fate of these neutral nations. Pretty much the new Iron Curtain. As we're going to be seeing Poland, Italy, and Austria joining alliances, or picking sides, if you will. Italy joins NATO, Austria joins NATO, and Poland joins Russia's alliance, Russia and America's alliance. But what about Czechia? We see German forces making the attack. This is a peaceful invasion just to gain the land. And what do you mean? And you may be wondering, what do you mean peaceful invasion? Well, it's pretty much German forces go in, they're celebrated by the people. The people are happy that the German forces are quote-unquote invading. But the reason they're doing this, the reason they're acting like they're invading, is just to act like Czechia didn't join, because when Russia was like, hey Czechia, join our alliance, Czechia said no, we're neutral. Which causes condemnation at Germany from Russia's alliance, but NATO knows exactly what happened. As we see Prague falling, and then we see Germany taking some land. And why are they taking land, you may ask? Because these areas are prominently German, I think. And, yeah, the Germans have migrated. But, yeah. And we see Czechia joining the alliance. Czechia is happy that they are free from having to join Russia's alliance. So, it's a win-win, even if you lose half of your country's territory. NATO is happy that massive neighbor expanded, being an ally expanded, but that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed, you should probably like and subscribe. And we saw a lot happening on the alliance layer, as all of these nations in all of the alliances are pretty decent. As Russia and America in alliance, India, Pakistan, and Vietnam in alliance, and weakened NATO. But we're going to be seeing two massive events in the next episode that will lead to a future World War IV that will shock you. Anyways, have a wonderful day.